Hello! In this video, we'll be discussing failure, and I'll be sharing a few tips that will help you in overcoming your fear of failure. I do think that the fear of failure is something that many of us face, and I do wholeheartedly believe that part of success, anything that you like to do in life that will lead to your success, then overcoming that fear of failure is just automatic. Like every single person has to go through that, right? Because anything major that you're trying to attempt to achieve, you will like a little bit have that fear of failure within you that you have to overcome and get on the other side, right? So the first tip that I'd like to share with you, this is a tip that I shared in the video when I talk about how to not be stuck. If you're feeling stuck, if you haven't watched that video, watch it after this. But I shared this when it comes to failure. I received a word from a life group that I've joined from my church, and the leader of that life group shared something that honestly was mind-blowing to me. I wrote it down right away, and I've been practicing it ever since, right? And what he said was that when you are afraid of failure, there is something that you don't know. Once you know that thing, that fear will disappear, right? So whenever, with whatever situation that you're currently in right now, to start or to do or to start something new that you haven't done before, and you are afraid of that failure, there is something that you don't know. And so what I would like to ask yourself in this situation, what don't I know about this? There's something you don't know. So ask yourself, what don't I know about this situation? And then once you discover that thing, then that fear that you're feeling will disappear, okay? So I'll give you an example. When I was, right now filming is, like I sit down and I start filming almost immediately. But when it comes to that first video that I uploaded on this channel, before even I filmed that day, I felt like I was going to throw up. I didn't actually throw up, but I felt like I was going to throw up. I was extremely afraid, right? And then of course I do think in that kind of scenario, it's more of like, what will people think, right? Oh, it's like, oh, you're joining YouTube, oh, you're gonna be one of those YouTubers, or whatever it is. Like whatever thoughts I had at that time, they made me extremely afraid, right? And at that, when I look back, because that was a couple of years back, when I look at that, that particular year, in that particular month when I started filming, what I actually needed to know that I didn't know at that time was that nobody cares. Like truthfully, respectfully, nobody cares. Like truthfully, in my mind, people are really going to like really be thinking about me and really think, and it's like, no, nobody cares. Like, and that is just the honest truth. Because even after I did end up uploading, I actually got a few got some views, like good, more even than the views that I get right now. But when it comes to like my Instagram, or let's say my friends and my family, actually nobody even mentioned it. Like nobody was like, oh my gosh, like I thought it's gonna be a thing of like everybody like, oh my goodness, you're on YouTube. I did not even experience that. Like I maybe got 1 or 2 messages, and that was it. And that made me realize like this fear that you had was actually unfounded, right? I did not have to go through that much stress, because even after uploading, I did not get the reaction that I thought I was going to get, right? So that was something that for me at that time I did not know, that I wish I knew, right? So please consider that. I just would like for you to just shift your perspective. Just shift your perspective and look for something that will, a perspective shift that would help you to get started and do that then, okay? Number 2, I want you to ask yourself, what is the worst that could happen? And then after that, ask yourself, what is the best thing that could happen? Right? I think I've shared this quote before of like flying, right? Is the quote that says, when it comes to flying, like, what if I fall? But it's like, honey, what if you fly? Right? You are so worried that this thing will not work out. But what if it does actually work out? Right? What if it does actually work out? What if it actually ends up being 10 times better than what you thought it could ever be? What if? But guess what? You will never ever know until you start. Like, that's just the truth. You cannot get that feedback. You cannot know until you just do it. And honestly, I did a video, steps to start your passion, starting to live out your passion, something that you feel like God is calling you to do and you're afraid. And I'm actually this thing as well. Just ask yourself, what is the best thing that could happen? What is the worst thing that could happen? What if I fall? Honey, what if you fly? Ask yourself those questions. If you need to do a journaling prompt, that could be a journaling prompt. Start journaling, do your writing, go for it, okay? And then the third thing would be start. So it goes back to the same thing that I mentioned, that you didn't know the feedback until you've actually started, right? So Martin Luther King did a quote, right, that said, if you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. But no matter what, keep moving, right? No matter what, keep moving. And this is really, like, I really, I love that quote. And I really just, please, I would ask you to really consider, like, no matter what, just start. No matter what, keep moving, right? And it does not have to be this huge thing. You as long as you've started, even if you're starting small, that is the best thing that you could do for yourself and for your passion and for your purpose, right? So whenever I think of like the big Jay Shetty himself, right? He loves to post these like throwback pictures of like when he first started speaking, right? Right now he fills up stadiums, but when he started, he was not filling up stadiums like that. When he started, he was talking to students. He was talking to like small groups of people, like at work, like different, like would be called to different companies, and he would be speaking to small groups of people, right? And it went from that to where he is right now, where he's literally filling up stadiums, right? But he started where he was at. He was talking to a few small groups, but he was starting. And sometimes I do think that when we are having these big imaginations and we're having these big dreams, and it can be crippling at times when you are thinking of like really big, and then those big dreams and those big imaginations, to the point that they even cripple you, to the point that you're not even starting at all, because you're like, how the hell am I going to even get there, right? So I don't want this to be your experience. Please just start where you are. Like for me with this YouTube right now, I'm filming with my phone. I have this right now. I'm not sure, hope the lighting is still okay, but it's like natural lighting, and this microphone that I have, and this microphone that I have, and that's it. But I'm starting, right? That's what matters. That's in the end, truthfully, as long as you're starting, as long as you keep going, success will come. It's only a matter of time until success will come. Okay, perfect. Number 4, failure is part of the process. I did mention that success will come. Absolutely it will be. But when I speak about these perspective shifts, right, something that we have to realize as well is that, let's say you're trying to start a business, right? They say like, I think 80% of small entrepreneurs, like it fails. It's like a shocking statistic, but I think I learned that in like business school. So like failure is it's part of life. It's just part of, like, when it comes to like your success journey and reaching where you need to reach, you can also just realize like failure is just part of that process. And then I do think once you have that just kind of like automatically, and if you even look at anybody that you admire, like if you have a celebrity or a role model, like anybody that you really admire, like, if you're to look like at their journey, they experienced multiple failures, multiple setbacks, and the main part is that they never gave up, right? So it goes back to that Martin Luther King's quote, that no matter what, you keep moving. So they experienced setbacks, they experienced disappointment, they experienced discouragement, but guess what? They kept going, right? So it's part of life. You will fail at something, you will experience setbacks, but the important thing any successful person would tell you is the important thing is just to take lessons from that experience and just move forward. Ask yourself, what did I learn from this situation? And you move forward. Like even with this channel, like I started, I stopped, I would come back again, I stopped. Actually, we can consider that as a failure, because at that time when I'm not doing what I need to be doing, like we can call that a failure, right? But the important thing is that we're here right now. I am here right now with you, okay? So that is just part of the journey, and there is nothing wrong with it. As long as you're picking up lessons, as long as you are learning and growing in that failure, and you don't stop at the failure, you keep moving, that is what matters. That's the only thing that is the only thing that matters. Last but not least, celebrate your wins. Celebrate your wins. So this will be small wins, but celebrate your wins. Okay? celebrate your wins, as small as they may be. Celebrate your wins. So for example, for me in my situation, for example, I even filming, because anyone that, you know, they do content creation and they do this, they will tell you, even sometimes getting to the stage of like actually filming and, you know, doing the uploading and everything, even that sometimes can be work, especially considering I actually have a full-time job and I'm doing this, still doing this on the side. So even the fact that I did this today, for me, I should celebrate that. I don't, but it's something that I should celebrate and be like, you know what, you did that thing. Like, girl, you actually filmed, you actually did it. And even if I was to look back into times that I was supposed to film and I didn't film, but I actually did it today, that is something for me to celebrate, right? If you are afraid of public speaking, right, and you went out, you know, you got the courage and you did it, like, you know, you actually were on a stage, and even though it could be you stumbled over your words or, you know, whatever the case may be, but you actually were on stage and you actually did the thing, you know, you spoke for the 5 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever it was, you know, that is a win. Like, that is something worth to be celebrated. It's not for me to wait until I have 1 million subscribers, or for me to wait until I have 1 million Instagram followers. No, where I am at, where you are at, as long as you're taking those steps, as I mentioned before, like if you're afraid and you're taking those small steps toward that big destination, that is something for you to celebrate. Okay? And I do wholeheartedly believe that when we take time to celebrate our wins, when we take time to thank God for how far we have come, God will bless you with more. He will bless you with more, and you will get the confidence, you will get the courage to keep going, and not only keep going, but keep doing bigger and bigger and bigger things. Okay? I believe there's this person that's, who is it? A motivational speaker that says, I see you at the top. So I'm going to end this video today by saying, see you at the top. Okay? Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you next week. Bye.